My name is Betsy Cracco, and I'm the Executive Director of Wellbeing, Access, and Prevention. And we're talking about Wellbeing Wednesdays. And Taha, you and I met last semester. It's all blurring together. We had a great conversation about music and mental health and all of that. And so I invited you back to hopefully chat with us a little bit about what you've been thinking about. And also your great statement about you got to get out of bed. So let's just catch up for a second. You can tell me about grad school, where you're headed, and then how the whole well-being challenge has been for you.
Yeah. Well, first off with grad school, I'm going into UMass Amherst public health program. Specifically, I'm getting an MPH in health policy and administration. Um, so that's exciting and like
That's
also
awesome.
crazy. Yeah, it's just like a master's is such a different step. And it's like the next one, especially in a public health field. Like every public health person I was saying, even people outside of the public health field were like, "Oh, if you can get a master's, that'll really help you out." So I just figured this was the best time to do it. Um, so yeah, that's starting within like 2 weeks or so. So yeah, looking forward to that. And then I guess kind of I have to like backtrack a bit really to how did I do at the beginning of all of this in terms of like wellness. Um, I was definitely extremely bummed. Like I was super sad. Like I mean, understandably so,
Right?
because I mean it's hard even with people with mental health issues. It's hard for everyone, but people with mental health, issues like you're told like what are you told to do when you have like mental health? You're like, okay, you have to go out and start something new and not be inside your home all day. And we're told by law, like, hey, stay inside your homes. Don't if you're gonna see your friends, which you really should at least. I know there's like different phases right now, but even still, like people aren't really going to each other's homes. Like if anything, you're meeting someone with a mask on, or you're keeping a distance, and you're outside, and so it just kind of makes things a little weird, a little unnatural, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, even this, all of a sudden, I'm like, well, this was easier last time we did it. All right, we were in person. That's why.
Yeah, no, yeah. Zoom calls. I mean, I remember me and my friends, we used to be on Zoom calls, and I was like, I don't think I could do it because I just felt so, I was like, this just doesn't feel right. So yeah, it's like all these things were just kind of intersecting with one another, like mental health already, and then um, it's really I'm privileged enough where I don't have to worry about like survival really.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people, who've lost their jobs. I have so many friends who've gotten laid off.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, it's been, I think, the hard part during this pandemic is like the days feel long, but the months feel short, you
Yeah, I
know?
can't believe like we started this in March. What are you kidding me? The
Yeah,
leaves are
no.
turning color. I already saw some red leaves this morning. I'm like, what?
That's crazy because I saw like Halloween decorations at CVS, and I was like, no one's trick or treating. Why is this in the stores? Like no
Someone
one's
did
gonna
point
even be
out that masks are a thing for Halloween, that it might be the only holiday we'll be able to celebrate.
maybe. Oh, but I guess yeah, in regards to just my well-being, at first I was super sad. Like I was like I had no energy. And I think everyone could relate. Everyone had plans that just got, canceled. Like everyone's plans got to get shut down. People had jobs lined up, didn't work. Internships didn't work. I had like over 10 shows I had to cancel, you
Mm.
know.
It's huge.
Yeah, and like some of them were like really big too. I had to get, all those opportunities gone. Like some one concert I was planning since October, you
Mm.
know, and I just had to tell them venue. They're like, "Oh, you could try to make it happen." I was like, "No, this is not going to work out." And then a week later, I announced it to everyone. I'm like, "Hey, I can't do this show anymore." And then a week later, all the bars are closed too, anyways. So it's a lot of people had all these plans of moving, and now they actually had to move back with their parents, and that's another even headache for some people, you know. Like I said, I'm privileged not only because I don't have to worry, you know, I don't have to worry about survival. That's both in terms of like money and socioeconomic status, but also in regards to like, you know, I have a healthy relationship in my home. You know, you know, there's been a rise of domestic violence because people are trapped in their homes, which is so sad. So
Right.
yeah, it's like, and then, you know, with all the racial tensions that were happening here, you know, with just people becoming, you know, I'm happy that more people are protesting. That's important, but there are tensions, and that's important. I think tensions lead to change, but still the tensions are there, and that could be overwhelming to so many people. You know, so like I'm saying, it's just everything was just intersecting at this terrible point of people just wanting to, you know, like you feel like you're imploding, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting. I would be interested to hear from you. And now, see, like this is the life of COVID, right? Like I can hear my husband turning on the faucets, and he must be home. Now that I'm recording things, we're gonna, yeah. But that, you know, before when we talked, it was just sort of the everyday stuff and how hard that was. And now we have these like crazy levels of challenge. And I wonder if you've like, how have you found a different level of coping, or, you know, do you feel like it's brought out something in you that you didn't know was there, or around with the people around you? Like, how are you doing it?
I actually I have been growing a lot. I think I feel like COVID, you know, there's a funny like meme and a funny just saying now going around. It's like, oh, if I'm stuck inside, I guess I'm gonna go inside, like
I didn't,
inside,
yeah, nice, nice,
right?
nice.
Like inside
Mhm.
yourself. And so
Yeah,
I've realized a lot of bad habits I've built. Um, you know, and I've realized, oh, my anxiety manifests itself in these ways.
yeah,
So I guess like COVID, because a lot of people start I mean, life in general, people, I feel like, you know, I've realized people, I mean, it's hard to be happy, it's easy to be comfortable. I feel like a lot of people like to be comfortable. You know, and God granted comfort brings a lot of great stuff, but also if you're only like, you know, if you're doing things out of comfort, that could be a dangerous road.
yeah,
Um, and I just think, so there's already that. And I feel like with COVID and like everything that we've discussed, people have been numbing themselves in ways. And granted, it's important to take breaks. I never want to take that away from somebody, but it's also like if you kind of got to move with somewhat of a purpose, you know. Like I've always said, if you're moving through life, move with patience and purpose.
mm-hmm.
And if you're doing nothing, do that nothing for purpose. Like know why you're doing it. Because if you're just doing it to numb yourself, if you're taking a break, you won't even enjoy a break. Like, you know, there's people who watch shows, like at least for myself, I'd be like watching a show and I'm on like the fifth episode and I'm like not even enjoying it because I'm just numbing myself.
Right.
So I think what I'm trying to get at is COVID has, or at least my experience in COVID has given me this opportunity to realize that I have been numbing myself and to catch me when I'm numbing myself. And it's given me the ability to kind of step back from myself and be like, okay, what do I need to take a break from? What do I need to rewire in my brain to
Mm.
become healthier? Because this, you know, I know why people are frustrated because I feel like a lot of people wanted to set sail, you
Mm.
know, so to speak, but
Yeah,
this isn't
yeah,
the
yeah.
time to set sail. It's the time to, what I say is fortify your ship. So, yeah.
Taha, you need to get your own whatever show slash podcast. Like seriously. Um, but like, you know, I'm taking notes here, right? On the whole, like, you know, if you're doing things out of just comfort, that's a dangerous road. And I think that's true. But like this intersection between finding comfort and numbing is so interesting. And
Mm,
I don't know that I've talked to anybody about that up till now. It's very classically Alcoholics Anonymous in a way. Like
mm,
the, you know, like if you're reaching for the drink or the food or the whatever the thing is, the TV, are you hungry? The mantra is HALT, HALT. Like, are you hungry? Are you angry? Are you lonely? Are you tired? And typically you're trying to numb out from one of those things. Like, okay, if you're hungry, eat the food, but
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, you might be angry, lonely, or tired, right? And so how do
Mm.
you check in on that? But so you've been trying to check in with yourself when you find yourself on the 5th episode of whatever the thing is, and you're not
Yeah.
enjoying it. What
It,
do you do? How do you reroute that? What do you do instead? And this is sort of the same conversation we had 5 months ago, 6 months ago about how do you get out of bed? Because that's the comfort zone, right?
yeah, definitely, definitely. For me, it's about taking a break from certain things and challenging myself to do others, like to do other activities. Like I took up archery recently. I just bought myself a bow and arrow, sat down with somebody who taught me how to shoot the bow and arrow, and now I do that. And then even just small things like, okay, it's about being, like I've said, like you want to be patient in your efforts, but you want to make those efforts. So it's like try to pick a goal of sorts. Like I was like, okay, I've been steadily going to the gym every morning, and building a habit of that, even though I was like, oh, this sucks, but I'm gonna do it. Same with like archery. I was like, oh, this is terrifying. Oh my God. But I kept doing it. And then now I got a bullseye like the other day and I was like, this is sick.
Nice.
I think it's just taking a break from the things that make you numb and realizing that they don't make you happy anymore, at least not during this time. Um, and realizing that if you keep, because I feel like that's the thing, like some people keep doing this thing or that thing because it's like, oh, it used to make me happy and I want to keep doing it, but it's like, right, anything in excess becomes just like
Mhm.
numbing and becomes like like weirdly unfamiliar.
So
So it,
are you seeing this? I didn't even sorry, like in your
no, no,
friends,
please.
are you seeing this play out with your friends, this turning to whatever the thing is to numb out?
Yeah, and yeah, no, definitely, and I'm seeing the other one too of them like slowly realizing it, and doing also new things. Like my friend was like, I feel, he felt was like, okay, I don't want to numb myself. I want to do something different. Um, let me now he does Meals on Wheels, and he helps like elderly folk.
Volunteers?
Yeah, and then he's also doing a new theater company thing where he's going to be helping like kids like 14 to 18 with theater and training them and
It's
whatnot.
not Jared, is it?
No, it's not Jared. Jared's doing a lot of cool stuff, but yeah,
Is
Jared's
he?
making like a comic book right now, really. Yeah, yeah.
So how do we say, I have two other questions, and I got, cues last time that we talked, it's way too long, so we'll shorten it up this time.
Yeah.
Um, how do you think you motivate people to that? Like, so I would venture to say that if we looked at the UMass student body right now, 99% of them, or whatever percent, are home, studying from home or remotely at least, and struggling with motivation. Actually, there was just a research study we got shown yesterday from a group on campus that said motivation and focus is the number 1 concern over
Mm.
anxiety, over everything else. So what are you seeing? So it sounds like you found some things to do, but do you have friends who aren't doing that? And what do you say to them?
Um,
The friends who
I
are stuck.
yeah, I really, yeah, that's a really good question. One, that it's within them. That's the thing. Like
Mhm.
everyone's like, I need, you can't find happiness in another person, or even like any substance or anything. Like it just won't help you, because life isn't that easy. I think that's the thing. Like telling people like, oh yeah, like it's within you. You can be happy without like not making it. You can be happy right now. Like I had a friend who, she's like, I got the job, I have a boyfriend, I'm like, she has her own place now, and she's like, I'm feel empty. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that's great, you got all those things, but happiness is, like I've said, it's a more complex thing. It's within you. And you could be, I could be even I wanted to move to New York and I can't right now because of COVID. And at first I was like, oh, I'll never be happy until I move to New York, but that's not true. you
Yeah.
know so I tell my friends that it's within. I think that's a big thing, knowing that it's within you. And the reason why I'm picking up new things and I'm still doing music, like I'm getting my project right now mixed and mastered, I finished recording it, um is when I do, for me, when I pick up a new thing and I master it or I become good at it, it leaves me surprised, you know. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I'm amazing, like, you know. So it's like it's
That's awesome.
it's
I
I think that's
forgot.
the
That's awesome.
yeah, like I guess that's the thing, and so knowing that it's within you, and you know, a lot of people are like, self-work can be Netflix and ice cream, and everyone takes a break, and self-work is also putting you in uncomfortable positions, you
Right.
know, and building kind of like the shape of your soul in a way, building who you are as a human being, you know,
Yeah.
and just reminding yourself like, oh yeah, I really do have all this potential and power within me. So I guess the biggest thing what I would tell someone is that it's within you, and try to put yourself in new situations that maybe you had some like interest in, that you always wanted to do but never had the time or courage. Try to do that now, and you will leave yourself really surprised if you just keep going.
Yeah. No, it's such great advice because it builds on strength, right? And you know, you do the hard thing, you get a sense of satisfaction from that. And when you avoid the hard thing, you don't get that payback, you know. It's
Exactly.
we often don't think of the rewards of the hard thing. So even right now, amidst COVID, like I'm the biggest complainer in the world. So like, oh, you know, we're gonna ask me like a whole long drawn out thing, and I don't have this and I don't have that. And it's like, I feel like when we come to the end of it, or however it changes us, we're going to figure out how adaptable it is. Like the ways that we've had to like spin on a dime to reprogram, like, okay, oh, wait, we're going all remote. All right, let's, you know, it's brought our team closer together in some ways.
Mm.
It also creates tensions, but I think it's such great advice. And the archery metaphorically and realistically, is such a centering thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You have to breathe, you have to focus. Like if the number one problem with for students is focus and concentration, we should just be setting up archery, you know, things all around campus. They're social
Yeah.
distant, like it's perfect.
That's what I was saying. Like I was like, I can also, it's like you can do it on your own too. That was a thing,
Yeah,
you know.
brilliant, brilliant.
Like
All right, let's segue unnaturally, but you know, deserves to be talked about. Let's talk about race and everything that's going on. You said that you did some charity fundraising for Black Lives Matter, and actually, we should list this charity because I'm going to look them up. The Loveland Foundation, awesome,
yeah, yeah.
gives money to, you said, women of color seeking therapy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Awesome. So what are the conversations you're having, or what's, you know, amongst you and your friends, and the impact specifically, because we're talking about race as a public health crisis, right? You're going into a public health grad program,
Yeah, yeah,
racism as a public health crisis.
yeah.
So how does that play out in the real lives of you and your friends?
Um, it's interesting because I feel like a kind of with a similar thing of numbing in a way, because I feel like people forget that activism requires a lot of love. Not only for obviously the movement, but for yourself, really. You gotta love yourself enough to be like, okay, I can actually help. You gotta love the world and love people enough to be like, oh yeah, we can make this better. We can make change.
Mhm.
Um, and I guess like some conversations, yeah, some people were like, I mean, I was one of them. I was like, yeah, everything's just too much right now. I can't deal with it. Um, and like it's always important to take some breaks, but also realizing you don't want to run away from your power and your potential. You know, I feel like that's the thing. People are like, you're running away from your responsibilities. And like, yes, obviously, like as me as a, you know, a cisgender man, I have responsibilities I never want to run away from. But also, I think changing the narrative in a way to recognizing my power and potential as a cisgender man that could really help people kind of makes it, kind of takes a different spin on it that makes me a little more inspired to help, and at least for me. And I think that could be a different way to tap into people. You know, both arguments work, but you know,
Mhm.
there's multiple people of different, you know, experiences and walks of life. So it's important to come up with as many ways as you can to inspire someone. But
Mhm.
yeah, that conversation with my friends, I mean, it's important that like everyone's talking about it. That's great. Um, you know, there's a lot of different stances on things, especially now with, you know, Kamala Harris as the running mate with, you know, Biden now. And has kind of reopened some other parts of the conversation as well. There's like so much, you know, I mean, obviously people are like, it's important to know that this has been happening for so
Mhm.
long. Um, you know, Black people have literally been saying this forever, like for so like centuries. And, you know, I, so many pieces of art and music I've literally talked about so many people who have met the same fate as George Floyd,
Right.
rest in peace. So I think it's important. That's an important topic, just knowing that it has been happening. And I think some people are just being like, it's interesting, you know, just trying to see what directions we can go in with this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like some people are very frustrated, understandably so, with Biden and Kamala, because like, okay, we have to pick between Biden and Trump. It's not the best. Um, and it's not like, you know, I understand where people are coming
Mm-hmm.
from. And but it like it's important to note that like all these progressive values and these progressive initiatives that we want to implement can be done much easier with Biden than with Trump. And right now, you do at the end of the day, one of them is going to be your president. One of them is going to happen. So you could pick the one that we have more of a shot with. And I acknowledge people's pain, anger, frustration with that, with the fact that we have to pick between people that you know so that you know might not really be the best for one's own um well-being and just like way of life and survival really.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's with these steps that we can lead to a greater amount of change. And we, you know, America has been getting better and better and better. And this is really, I think, a turning point. I think that's the thing. Yeah, letting people know that this is just a turning point.
Mm-hmm.
And our friends talking about how we're gonna really shift stuff in regards to this
Yeah.
movement.
Do they feel like it's a turning point too?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Some of them, you know, they falter a bit, understandably, like, ah, nah, never mind. But then they're like, wait, no, no, I think this could happen. I think this is gonna, you know, happen.
Yeah.
But, but yeah, it falters sometimes. But I think for the most part, you know, people are really, yeah, they're really with it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. The conversations are definitely happening. I know they're happening in my world all over the place, and I imagine in yours too. And it's all the same world, so that's good news.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, all right. Well, I mean, you said some really incredibly valuable things that I think really apply to the well-being messages that we're trying to push forward, which is you have it within you. A lot of the programming that we're doing is very resilience based, which sometimes can feel like you're being beaten with that, like, oh my gosh, like just let me have my moment and
Yeah, yeah.
stop pep talking me. But I think if we can really convince, I think people need to tell their stories, right?
Mm,
You're a storyteller through your music. If we give people the space to really reflect also on what they're good at and what their strengths are, it gives them this glow that I think is really important. So there's some cool things we're doing to try and facilitate that and just connect people. We're putting them in small groups and saying, please reach out to each other and meet once a week, which is a hard sell when it's probably coming from us, but we'll get some students to hopefully pitch that message too. Isolation is the thing that's going to get people, and
yeah,
I hope
definitely.
they'll reach out. So,
No, me too.
um, but I love the archery idea. I love the find something that you can get better at.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, it's just about, you know, if you feel lost, which is understandably so, because I feel like not many people talk about this. Like you come to this planet and yes, you might have your faith and whatnot, but at the end of the day, we really don't know where we came from and we don't know where we're going to end at. And also people forget that there's been like billions, like trillions of like life. There's like, you know, like organisms and just like life that was here way before us. Like if you feel lost, like it that you seek answers, you know, like that's what I've been trying to read more. I've been trying to seek it within myself and seek it in the world and just trying to and like, you know, like yeah, if you feel like everything's dark around you, maybe you just got to move in a different direction.